Hi, welcome to 200-2565. Today I'll be completing the assessment, the irrigation assessment. I'm currently going to be focusing today on the connections of the poly pipe, the fittings, and how to do that component. The point of connection work has been completed earlier. There are some videos earlier I did encounter some problems. Took about 3 days, took about 4 days, let's call it 4 days of mucking around, 3 full attempts, but we'll go through that in a moment. What we're doing here today is completing the work I've done here on these plans. So we're irrigating a topiary nursery, reconnecting an existing line that has only micro sprinklers on it, just off the fence, which I'll take you through in a moment, and also putting 2 future lines in for once that topiary garden increases and our veggie garden as well. So the point of connection has now 4 taps. It's all manually controlled. There is no solenoids or anything like that being used. Now, first I'll go through my PPE equipment. Today we have my trusty hat, hello, sunglasses, gloves, and my steel cap boots. The tools we'll be using, pretty simple today. A cutter for the poly pipe and these multi-grips to assist with clamping these on. Once we get those barb fittings, we'll get the pipe over the top. This will go on top and then we'll just pull that shut and then that'll stay there. Apparently these are stainless steel. This is industry standard now, what people use. Now just to take you through what I've got here, I've got some risers. I bought these after I did my initial view because I want to get a bit higher for so once that sits up and I've got my fitting on top, I'll be able to get a good coverage of my buxus. So poly, we've got the risers to different lengths here, just to get so we can get to the right one. Some different types of fittings. I bought these Pope ones, but I normally get Hunter pieces. So these are some elbows, some M plugs here, which are good to use there. Some with a bit of thread on it. We have also some standing, I can't understand my writing there, straight joints and some elbow risers. Some pins to clamp them in. Now just so it's clear, the property, you can see the property here, we'll be working on the bottom half of the property. The property is not accessed by anyone, not members of the public or not members of the family, just myself, my father and my mother. So the fittings will be placed, not the fittings, a pipe will be put in an area where it's fairly secluded, so access by others is not common, or it doesn't happen. So for that reason, pipe will not be dug underground in most areas. Just in a couple of areas where there's footpaths, I'll be making that very, I'll conceal that under the soil. But in most other areas, it will be up and going forward, a lot of it covered up with mulch. Now, the assignment asks for some key things to be done, okay? So yes, I've confirmed with the owners of the property of the work I'll be doing today, and they're happy with that. PP materials, we'll cover that off. Risk assessment's been done. Now, the pieces that need to be cut and joined suitable LDPE pipe, which we have here, using barb fittings, which I've shown you. Install an air valve. So this is our air valve. So this air valve, normally used for irrigation purposes. That air valve will be placed at the top end of the buxus garden. A filter's been placed on the point of connection. A pressure regulator. Now, in respect to a pressure regulator, not required, a system can take the pressure. So I've spoken to the experts at Oztech Irrigation, and the pressure, because I had a pressure gauge, had it tested, and the system that I have can take that pressure, so they've advised that is not required. Backflow prevention device is being installed in one or more valves for irrigation lines. So the flush valve is going to be this one here. This is a flush valve, we'll go at the end. This is another type of flush valve, but to maintain it being clean, there'll be some LDPE pipe here, LDPE pipe there, and this flush valve will sit towards the end of the property. So this goes at the lowest point, and air valve will be at the highest point. Okay, So there's some little extras that we'll be doing, or that have to come in. Stakes will be used, given the risers won't be buried in. These will be placed next to them and tied on with cable ties to ensure there's a bit more stability to those. And these components here, these are hooks I purchased from Bunnings, which will go along our fence line, hook on, and then the poly pipe will sit inside there and out of the way so we can cut the lawns, trim the hedges, dig in the vegetables, etc. However, my father's been kind enough to make these makeshift ones here, recycling some old coat hangers, and what will happen is they will go hook onto the fence, and the poly pipe will be secured in there. So these are some additional ones that I've got. So as you can see, probably looks like a lot, but this is a fun part, I call it, compared to the dealing with a point of connection, which was very, very stressful. Okay, thank you very much. Well, now I'll put on a video, I'll film what's going on down the bottom.